Yeah.
Great. Ryan Pepio, I know we've seen him come out in a situation like we'll see today, likely after an opener. Are there any other situations that you would like to see him kind of get some more experience before we get closer to the postseason?
He's doing it. I think today he's going to be the second pitcher behind Fergie. So if the pitch count gets up, there could be a potential that he could come into the first inning. So I think that's something that he hasn't done before. So I think getting his mind wrapped around that might be a possibility, I think is healthy. But if it goes clean or somewhat clean, he'll be the second guy. And I think for us is, the buildup is there, so we'll just run him as long as we can.
How was Daniel Hudson's live today?
It was good. There was a lot of strikes. I didn't look at, I haven't heard about the velocity. I think for us right now, just to get him through that, and hopefully I hear back that it went well, he came out of it well. But it was just encouraging to see him against some hitters, and I think we'll revisit this in another 4 or 5 days.
Safe to assume he's still in the long shot bucket?
I think so. I mean, I think that just continue to move forward. Our expectation is to play through October. So if we can continue to build him up, the long shot becomes shorter and shorter. So I think the most important thing is to continue to pass these certain markers.
You had James Jones as well as another pitcher out here today. Was that just to kind of get some reps for the hitters, or is there something that you're seeing from those guys that maybe you might want to see maybe that week into ahead of the postseason to kind of help keep guys ready?
I think it was just more of getting a couple lefties here. We got the kid Munoz, we got James here, Huddy through, just to get certain guys that aren't getting a lot of at-bats, certainly versus lefties, to get them some simulated at-bats. We've had a run of right-handed pitching, so just to kind of keep them sharp. We've used him the most as the opener. I think that there's a potential that Gradwell might get a couple opportunities to open. Fergie, and then obviously we went with Shelby the other day. So I think that's kind of where we're at as far as potential openers.
And it's just kind of looking at guys who might be neutral. Like, how does that decision happen?
Yeah, I think it's the neutrality. I think it's also appreciating the fact that you're going to face the first 3 or 4 top hitters of the lineup, that you feel comfortable that you can get through that first inning to give some runway to that next guy.
He become your first choice to open in October because of that? Because the neutrality?
I think Fergie and Gratterall are 2 guys that I think would be at the top of the list.
Will Smith is probably the only everyday guy out there taking the live at bats. How much do you need to get from him more than you've given in the last month or so?
I think, it hasn't been great the last couple months. Talked about this a few days ago. I think that having our guys look at where he got hit in that rib and just kind of cleaning up the mechanics. They went a little sideways. So I think that led to a lot of missed pitches in the hitting zone. The last 7 days for me, I think the at-bat quality, the swings have been considerably better. And I think for Will, just today was another opportunity just to see a live arm.
How much do you feel like that?
That was his choice, yeah.
How much do you feel like the rib, pain-wise, was impacting?
The pain wasn't. It wasn't. I think it was more of, there was probably a little bit of guarding initially after. And then when you're talking about the rib, the oblique, that sort of dovetails into some changed mechanics.
What sort of led you guys to sort of dig deeper to know that there's a fracture there?
Our player performance guys, kind of now you got more than just video. And so you could kind of take a deeper dive and how when he was good pre-injury or pre-hit by pitch, and kind of how it morphed into something a little bit different.
Have you seen the opener piggyback situation shift more of a detailed strategy?
I think that's fair. I still believe that the opener is still a strategy in the sense of how you can create a different look for that next pitcher coming in. allow them to potentially face some more hitters in a particular game. So it's always a sort of a strategy, but I think that with our varied arms, just kind of putting our thoughts together and how best to prevent runs in a game and how best to use our arms.
Has the piggyback worked so well because of the personnel, or do you think there's another ingredient that's made it?
I think in a vacuum, the piggybacking, the opener works because it's varied looks to the hitters. And then you layer in on our guys' willingness, the neutrality with a lot of the guys that we have behind guys, and then the openers and whoever we choose, I think adds to that as well.
Some of that is lessened if you're in a series and you do it a couple of times.
I don't think so because we can still. We're not beholden to any opener or any guy behind them. We have a lot of guys that can go, one, even potentially 2 times through.
What do you think of this opener in 2018, whatever it was, that strategy started kind of taking the lead? What do you think about it now?
I think it's one of those things where the Rays were out ahead of it, and by potentially necessity. But I think the league caught up and realized that it's a really good way to prevent runs. And I think, like all things, something that's new is going to be met with some resistance. But there's a reason why more teams are doing it now.
Does that make it easier?
Yeah.
I might have had a little eye roll,
You did.
but you look back and then you start having conversations, and if things make sense, I'm be the first to say that I wasn't right, and I'm willing to try to convince our players that it's the best thing for our club.
Is that hard? Is that a big part of it?
It's a big part of it because in theory, on paper, things could make sense, but if there's not buy-in, then it's moot. And so those are conversations that, whether it's me, the pitching guys, have to, let guys know that it's best for them and it's best for the team. And then that's kind of that trust part of it and the buy-in.
Is that easier now to some of these younger guys who maybe have come up within that, have been used that sort of capacity now in minors?
It is. It's to talk to guys that have been around Clayton or Lance or Walker Buehler. Those are harder conversations because they're wired in a certain way, which they've had success. But the younger players, it's a different culture where industry-wide they're doing it more often, so it's just more familiar.
Dave, is there anybody that you're health-wise that you're going to stay away from this last week?
No. I think on a given night, we'll make decisions on who we need to stay away from. But as far as that, no.